Hi, everyone. I'm John C. Morley, the host of the J. Moore Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Well, hey guys, it's John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur, and you're tuned into the J. Moore Tech Talk Show. A little late this week because we had some technical challenges. I was actually traveling, but then when I got back to do the rebroadcast, I had discovered after I did the broadcast that I never did a video and audio check. Now, I usually do this, but getting back from my trip, I figured everything was fine. I hadn't changed anything. Unbeknownst to me, there unfortunately was a power outage. And many things came back up, but unfortunately the amp, for safety reasons, did not repower up, and everything looked great, but I just forgot to check that little light. And now I try to always do that, and that's why this episode's coming out a little bit later. All right, guys, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. You are watching the J. Moore Tech Talk Show. I am so grateful that you're with me, whether you're with me live right now while I'm doing this at 12:14 p.m. on a Sunday or 12:14 a.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 6 a.m., 6 p.m. Doesn't really matter what time it is. I just thank you so much for being with me. And today's show, ladies and gentlemen, I think you're really going to like the tech tides, navigating strikes, AI, and cybersecurity. We're on series 3. We're on show 38, ladies and gentlemen. And a new thing I want to announce for those of you that have just might have tuned in is that we have left StreamYard. I'm not going to get into all the particulars as I had mentioned to you on the last show, but we've left them, and they just weren't working out for us, and they stopped providing support. And when I was traveling, I couldn't get a code to log in. So we're with Restream now, who's been great. They give us lots of amazing information, and really happy to be with them. So thank you so much for bearing with us. And also now, every single day, we release 1 or 2 short reels, anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes on social media that gives you like a quick bird's eye view of maybe a highlighted point or 2 of the show. Because I know everybody can't watch the full show when they want to decide which shows they want to watch. So now you can watch the quick reels, and then the one that you like, you can just go from there and say, all right, I want to watch the full show. All right, guys, let's just jump right into the show because I am so excited to do this again. We're re-recording this live because, like I said, we had some challenges checking, double checking, and triple checking. Yes, we do have full audio. Thank you very much, Maestro. And everything's working well. So, you know how we work this. Every single week, we have basically a theme. And so we have these different topics in the theme. And then on Friday, we go and actually embellish them even more with more detail. All right. So the first one I want to talk to you about is Samsung India strike. It puts spotlight on the powerful Indian labor group. Now, workers at Samsung, whether you guys know it or not, the electronics Southern India plant, remains on strike and disrupted production as they demand better wages and better working conditions. So the strike, which has brought attention to a politically backed labor group that mobilized the workers, highlights broader effects to address labor issues in India's growing electronics sector. The group now plans to expand its influence to other companies in the industry, advocating improved labor rights and conditions. Wow, that's a lot. A lot. I mean, absolutely crazy. And, I think most people don't appreciate what goes in to make a product, right? They just don't go into what it takes to make something. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's important that we embrace how things are made, and what's actually going on. And just a few days ago, they made a statement: no work, no pay, possible termination. Ouch. Possible termination. That's just like, that's just like crazy, ladies and gentlemen. That's crazy. And It's something that I think a lot of people don't realize, but it's something that I believe most people have to pretty much they have to embrace. But no work, or you're going to be terminated. And the Indian workers issue is basically escalating, and it's causing lots of issues. Samsung Electronics has warned its striking workers in southern India they will not receive wages if they continue protesting, and also face the risk of termination, a company email had stated, escalating a dispute between the company and its employees. That's a threat. That's a threat. And Samsung, I don't care how big you are, but that's wrong. You should resolve this issue. Hundreds of Samsung workers have been out of work since September 9th, disrupted work and protested in nearby makeshift tents close to its home appliance factory near the city of Chennai. And they have been demanding higher wages and recognition of a union at the plant, which contributes roughly to a third of Samsung's annual India revenue of $12 billion. And they want a safer and better working environment. And I can't blame them for that. So hopefully this is going to go somewhere. And they say the group now plans to expand its influence to other companies in the industry, advocating for improved labor rights and conditions. And I think that's something that we have to embrace, ladies and gentlemen. Regardless of whether you're working as a CEO, whether you're an engineer, whether you're a sanitational engineer, person collecting the trash is a fancy word for that. I think we have to be understanding, compassionate, and we have to realize that we're all here in a team together for a common goal. Well, Disney's DirecTV reaches a deal restoring programming for 11 million satellite TV viewers. Yes, Walt Disney and DirecTV have reached a tentative agreement, quote unquote, restoring access to key programming for over 11 million DirecTV subscribers after a blackout that began on September 1st. Now, the new deal grants DirecTV greater flexibility to offer tailored programming packages, including options focused on sports, entertainment, and family content, while also integrating Disney's streaming services like Disney's Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus into select packages. Additionally, DirecTV secured rights to distribute ESPN's upcoming streaming service. And the impasse, which disrupted, as you guys all know, broadcasts of college football, the U.S. Open, and a U.S. presidential debate, had been affecting subscribers' retention. Both companies highlighted the deal as a reflection of the evolving consumer landscape and improved economic terms for Disney. This agreement comes just in time for the Emmy Awards, where Disney expects to make significant gains. The longstanding contention in negotiations was crucial in securing this agreement, allowing both companies to preserve key content distribution strategies. Wow. I got to tell you guys, every couple years, there's always some company that is deciding to pull out from, the telecommunication world because they're claiming that they're not getting enough money, right? This is something that's not new. And you might have remembered on cable a while back, they yanked the Food Network channel when there was a big challenge with some great Iron Chefs. And there was nothing really anybody could do. What they did is they decided to broadcast it on Channel 13. Now, I think that's a pretty amazing thing that they broadcasted on Channel 13. And, I think they all just try to play games. And it's all about money, right? But I think a lot of them are not fair. That's the big problem. Well, here's a real big one. I don't even understand this totally. The United Airlines basically is tapping now into Elon Musk's in-flight entertainment for free in-flight entertainment. That's right. It's going to be free for the passengers, but Elon Musk is working a deal. So obviously he's making some kind of money, right? And they're probably going to tack this fee onto your airline ticket, which I really don't mind. I think it's a good idea. So United Airlines has announced a partnership with Elon Musk's Starlink satellite network to provide free Wi-Fi on all its planes over the coming years. The deal, which will connect around 1,000 aircraft, marks Starlink's largest agreement with a commercial airlines. Testing is set to begin in 2025, with the first connected flights expected later that year. Details of the rollout are still being finalized, and the installation will occur by aircraft type, with the full fleet expected to be equipped over a couple of years. The equipment will be engineered by the plane's manufacturers and certified by the FAA. So I think that's a great move, and hopefully people will embrace this, because I got to tell you, the Wi-Fi on any of the flights you're on, I know I fly United all the time, and it's crappy. It always drops out. Now that it'll be satellite, we don't have to worry about, if we're over water or something, because it's going to be coming from the sky. So I think that's a really, really cool thing. I don't know if you guys know who 23andMe is. Does that ring a bell to anybody? 23andMe. It sounds like a teen's clothing store, but it's not. It's a DNA genetic testing for health ancestry site, and they offer lots of different services, such as ancestry service, health and ancestry service. They offer total health packages so that you can learn more about your body and its condition. Things like cardiovascular disease, biannual blood testing, genetic information, clinical care, things about breast cancer, learning more about your DNA, they say, will tell you about your health and your ancestry. However, ladies and gentlemen, this is a big problem. 23andMe settles a data breach lawsuit for $30 million. So 23andMe has agreed to a $30 million settlement to resolve lawsuits related to a 2023 data breach that affected 6.4 million users. The breach, which began with a compromise of just 14,000 accounts, allowed a hacker to exploit the DNA relatives feature and access millions of users' profiles, later attempting to sell the data. And the settlement aims to cover all U.S. claims, offering up to $10,000 for users who filed extraordinary claims, such as financial fraud or reimbursed expenses for security measures or mental health counseling. Final court approval is still required for this. So this is going to be interesting. The 23andMe, we're going to have to see what happens. A lot of these companies, and I have to tell you, it's not that they don't want to do the right thing. A lot of times it's that they don't know. And other times it's that they're just too cheap, right? So this was in early October of 2023, and it led to the consumer genetic testing companies 23andMe basically sensitive personal data to be exploited. And so, this is a big, big problem. There was a personal data breach of 6.4 million that were compromised. And there was lots of information that was exposed. The stolen data included things like the name, ancestry reports, family tree info, health predispositions, traits, raw genetic data, and much more. Hackers targeted sensitive groups, analyzing things of the dark web data found and contained genetic profiles of over 300,000 customers of Chinese descent and 1 million of the Ashkenazi Jewish descent. And the fallout for 23andMe stock prices, as you probably know, took a nosedive way down. And regulatory investigations did launch. The FTC and the SEC and state attorney generals opened probes into 23andMe's data security practices and representations to consumers. I think this is a big challenge. And I feel that, when you pick a company, you've got to make sure they're doing the right things. And maybe 23andMe had a great model for what they were doing, but I think they should almost be required to have secure premises. It shouldn't be an option. All right, so we'll keep following that story for you, because that is just dreadful what happened and how these bad actors are exploiting people's ancestry data. Well, Apple confirmed the iPhone 16 has 8 gigabytes of RAM. Apple has confirmed that all 4 models of the upcoming iPhone 16 will feature 8 gigabytes of RAM, a notable upgrade from the previous 6 gigabytes in standard models. And this increase is driven by the demand of Apple's intelligence, the company's AI-powered suite of features, marking a significant shift in the company's hardware approach. Well, I got my iPhone 16 Pro Max, ladies and gentlemen, on Friday. It actually came at around 3:30. They said it would come between 12 and 4. So I did get it. And they added a new button to the side here. If you press this little button like this, it actually turns on your video or your camera to take pictures. So I will talk more about the iPhone and iOS 8 next week, but they added a lot of great features. But I did want to let you know that I got it. And it was really an experience. If you want to learn more about my unboxing, go to believemeachieve.com. You can check that out, and you'll be able to see the moment of thrill that I had when I opened the box. It was like a little kid at Christmas time, right? All right. So the FDA does something pretty interesting. So Apple's AirPods Pro 2 will soon be able to function as hearing aids after receiving FDA clearance for a new hearing aid feature, HAF, making a significant development in the hearing aid market. The software compatible with iOS 18 allows Apple's AirPods Pro and similar devices to aid users with mild to moderate hearing loss by customizing sound settings based on a built-in hearing test. Now, this is the first time the FDA has authorized over-the-counter hearing aid software for consumer audio products, providing a more accessible hearing solution for millions of America. This is going to be very interesting, and we're definitely going to be tracking the trends on this. So we've been hearing a lot about Telegram, piece of software I don't even want to touch. The Telegram turmoil threatens dominant chronicle of war in Ukraine. So the detention of Telegram founder Pavel Durov in Paris has raised concerns about platform's future, the integrity, which has become a pivotal point in sharpening global perceptions of Russia's war in Ukraine. Since Russia's 2022 invasion, Telegram has grown into a widely used tool for sharing real-time battlefield updates with soldiers, propagandists, and dissidents, all using the app. Durov's arrest is linked to a criminal investigation regarding the app's cooperation with law enforcement, with half of Russians now using the Telegram amid bans on Western media. It remains a crucial source of less censored information on the conflict. This is just, I mean, this is terrible. This thing that's happening, the Telegram, I'll call it the Telegram disaster. And, we keep hearing about things and, what's going on. And I think a lot of people don't realize that you can't just jump on board with some application before you do some research, right? I mean, I think this is just, I think this is really a problem. We're having a similar challenge with TikTok, as you guys know. And it's a big, big problem. It's a puzzle for some. It's an annoyance. It's a real security nightmare. And so we're going to have to stay on top of, what's going on. But I feel that a lot more is going to come out. Okay. And so as more comes out, we will learn more. But this is a disaster. The Telegram ban and arrest of Durov. Now, we still don't know all the details yet. What we do know is that he did something that was very, very wrong. For the Russian intelligence, this is very bad. It's a complete failure, they say. Kovalenko commented on the aftermath of the arrest of Telegram's founder. On September 12th, the French newspaper Liberation reported that Telegram started cooperating with French investigators following the detention of Durov. So, again, he cooperated. What's he going to do? If he doesn't cooperate, he's going to go to jail and really be hit with some severe penalties. So I have to tell you, I don't like Telegram. I don't like the way it works. Security is terrible. So you might be saying, John, why is Telegram so unsecure? That might be what you're asking. And I think it comes back to the fact that it wasn't built on a secure infrastructure. Okay. And so Telegram is an easy to use messenger app. offers a lot of features like WhatsApp. I don't like WhatsApp either, by the way. And so a lot of people that are, using this, Telegram had said they have a reputation for being secure because it has several features that suggest this. But suggesting it and demonstrating it are two different things. And why Telegram isn't so secure? Well, it has many useful security features. Telegram's end-to-end encryption is off by default. All Telegram messages basically should be encrypted. But it only occurs while in transit from your device to Telegram servers. Once they arrive on the Telegram servers, the data is decrypted and messages can therefore be accessed. I bet you didn't know that. End-to-end encryption is important because it prevents the server owner from accessing your data, and it looks like they can do that very, very easily. So it seems like they've tried to do the right things, but they have not protected 100%. And when it gets back to the server, that could be a very big problem. So Telegram has a big security hole, and I think they know about it, but I think they're just trying to sweep it under the carpet and hoping they can just, let it slip by. But the European Union and many other people are too smart for that. So my 2 cents is don't use Telegram. Don't use it. I like Slack. Now, not to say the Slack's never got hacked, but Slack is at least doing everything they can to make sure things are right. If there's a problem, they address it immediately. Any platform can have hacks, right? Can have problems. But I think the fact that a company is willing to be proactive to fix these hacks, that is really my concern. And Google ChromeOS just copied one of Windows 11's best features. Wow, that's below the belt. Google's latest ChromeOS 128 update introduces several new features, including Snap Groups, which resembles Windows 11 Snap layouts by allowing users to organize apps into various full-screen arrangements. And the update also adds optical character recognition, OCR, to ChromeOS camera app, enabling users to extract and search text from images, convert images into searchable PDFs, and use a screen reader for image-based text. These improvements aim to enhance app organizations and also text extraction capabilities on the Chrome device. So I smell a class action lawsuit. I can't say for certain, but I smell one coming. And it's funny how these big companies think they can get away. Well, we know that Google was in trouble in the past. They might be getting in trouble again. Well, Tesla. Yes, Tesla's back in the news again with the semi-fire in California that took 50,000 gallons of water to extinguish. On August 19th, a Tesla semi-truck fire following a crash on I-80 in Placer County, California, required approximately 50,000 gallons of water to extinguish, according to the National Transportation Safety Board, the NTSB. One person on TikTok, I had posted something. He's like, well, thanks for educating me. I thought you could just throw out, water like that of a fire and just some salt, right? And you can't. So that was a big problem. It's like, he didn't realize how grand it was. So the incident, which involved a truck traveling from Livermore, California to Tesla's Sparks, Nevada facility, resulted in the closure of both eastbound and westbound I-80 for over 14 hours. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Yes, the Tesla fire of 50,000 gallons. I mean, that's just like preposterous. I mean, the fact that had to become a reality, it's terrible. And, when the NTSB, the National Transportation Safety Board, reports something, we pretty much can believe what they're saying because they have lots of data. Well, the Port of Seattle revealed that some of its data might be at risk of online exposure following a ransomware attack, which happened on August 24th. Carried out by the criminal group Rhysida, that's RHYSIDA. So the attack, which impacted operations at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport and other port functions, led to encryption of some data and significant operational disruptions, including Wi-Fi outages and delays in baggage services. Now, the port has refused to pay the ransom, which is smart, and Riceta may post the stolen data on the dark web. And so this reminds me of something they did that one of my customers said to me, that they're not into technology. They use it because they have to, but when, they have a challenge like, oh, I just want to go back to paper and pencil. And so I remember my mom having a full dry clean plant, and I did the software for it. And we had something called Cache Guard, where basically you would do electronic racking. Now, the old way of racking was, you would take the last part, which is the cardboard. You would rip that off. You would write the number, okay, where you put it on the rack and file what we call the Visa file, which was basically all alphabetical. Well, we got rid of the Visa file because that took a lot of time, right? You had to always go look, and people didn't file things correctly. So you had to look up the name alphabetically and then pull it. That was the old way. Well, the new way was whenever you went to the register and you were paid for the items, the system would tell you what the rack location for those were. That also meant that before you racked, it was a little bit different. So you would scan, you would go into the rack program, you would scan the actual ticket, put it on the rack, and put a number and hit enter. Pretty easy, right? You got to make sure you did it properly. And now what happened if your system went down? Well, you were kind of out of luck because now you had to spin the whole rack. And we had to do that many times. So does that mean you should get away from technology? No. But it does mean that you have to have a backup plan and know what that backup plan is going to be. Like the fact of, having our power out and still needing to get somebody's clothes off the rack when we had no power might have taken us 30, 45 minutes or even sometimes over an hour. So when people tell me they want to use paper and pencil, I get it, but that's just their frustration speaking. So as I said, the port had refused to pay the ransom and to Riceta, and they had the ability to post stolen data on the dark web. Now, while the airport's travel operations and security, they said, were unaffected, several services and systems remained offline as recovery efforts continued. The port's executive director emphasized the commitment to not paying the ransom, citing concerns over taxpayer dollars and values. They worked days to get the website back up because lots of information was damaged. So what does this really mean? It means that it's not a question of if you're going to get hacked, but when, if you're not properly protected. So what you need to do is do a risk mitigation, at least, once or twice a year, or maybe even once each quarter. And you figure out, how could somebody hack into your network? And you try to do a penetration test to see, could somebody get in easily? If they got in, what could they access? What would be the worst case scenario? How would you make sure that people are not, let's say, able to cause too much damage? How would you make sure that data gets back? Do you have a backup plan so that if the data did get locked down, encrypted, that you'd be able to simply wipe everything out and just start from scratch? Many people don't think of that because they're like, oh, everything's fine, I don't have to worry about it. Have a backup of your data. This is so vital, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot emphasize this enough. So the question you might be asking right now, is the port of Seattle airport fully up and running? So again, they're having quite a bit of challenges, as I mentioned to you. And so the ransomware attack affected quite a bit, and for weeks, okay? And part of the problem, one person has said, is that federal cyber recommendations are not timely. So I think the federal government is very slow to move. And the Riceta ransomware group's attack on the Port of Seattle, which operates the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, is just the latest high-profile attack to exemplify the risk-critical infrastructure is very hard and confronting. And critical infrastructure providers are often operating with constrained resources, money, budgets. And despite the federal government's effort to help fill those gaps, attacks usually cause sweeping damages. Part of the problem, one person said, is that the airports wait too long for federal cyber improvement recommendations, and they only do something when they have to. Every U.S. airport is required to assess their cybersecurity resilience and submit improvement plans to the TSA, the Transportation Security Administration. But there remains a disconnect and delay in how the federal government follows up on these efforts, according to Lance Lytle, aviation managing director at the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. One way that we could help is if the TSA and Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency consolidate this information and come up with the best practices and actually disseminate it back to the aviation industry. Currently, it's a one-way street, Lytle said. We're sending the information, but we're not getting back in a timely manner recommendations of how to improve our infrastructure. That would make a major difference. The disengagement and lack of follow-through puts the most resource-constrained critical infrastructure sectors at significant disadvantages. And CISA's cybersecurity performance goals, a roadmap is released every 2 years and aims to help organizations operating in what the agency describes as target-rich, resource-poor supply chains, which are often run by small to medium-sized businesses. The agency, of course, declines to answer questions about the Port of Seattle's attack, but has pointed to efforts such as the Joint Ransomware Task Force Stop Ransomware Guide as a resource to help organizations prevent, detect, respond, and recover from ransomware attacks. So really what this says is, okay, yes, my pants are down, but I don't want to admit they are, and so I'm just going to ignore it, and we're going to just hope nobody notices. Yeah, you can't really go on that philosophy for very long, ladies and gentlemen. So here's one that really, I'm going to say, is hard for me to swallow. Frontier Airlines recently had a passenger and was accused of attacking attendants and screaming death threats. On September 13th, Charles Angel Salva, 30, from Fremont, California, was arrested on charges of interfering with flight crew members after allegedly attacking flight attendants and threatening to kill everyone on a Frontier Airlines flight in Orange County, California, during takeoff. Now, Salva reported that he had reached into an overheaded oxygen mask compartment, yelled obscenities. They noticed that several of the oxygen masks in that area had dropped down, and the flight attendants were wondering what happened. Quote, "We are all going to hell," he said, and quote, "This airplane is going down," quote. He also grabbed passengers and tried to run to the back of the plane while flight attendants attempted to restrain him. He also wound up almost choking one of the flight attendants on board. If convicted, Salva faces up to 20 years in federal prison. Wow. That's crazy. And here's another interesting thing about this that I think is something that a lot of people don't realize, is that because of his, let's call it bad behavior, he was immediately required to pay over $5,000 in extra fuel costs because they had to divert back to another airport. And this is absolutely crazy. It's crazy that this could happen and that this could be allowed. I mean, the fact that somebody like this could get on board, this just really, it's scary. And again, a 30-year-old from Fremont, California, a passenger told law enforcement that it appeared Salva was claustrophobic and seemed like he wanted to get off the plane. The U.S. Attorney Office said, adding that the man got his hand stuck in the overhead compartment after he pulled the oxygen mask from there. During the incident, Salva yelled obscenities at flight attendants and allegedly said, "Here's what we said, we're going to hell, and the airplane's going down." Passengers helped restrain Salva, who broke out of flex cuffs and had to be restrained by a seatbelt. The release said, during the incident, Salva kicked one flight attendant approximately 6 times in the leg, causing apparent bruises and swelling, which required medical attention. The flight attendant, whom he allegedly attempted to choke, was also left with small marks to the neck, according to the U.S. Attorney General's office. The flight attendants did not feel safe trying to put Salva back in a seat, and the flight was diverted to Ontario's International Airport in California. The release also said that the FAA confirmed that the flight landed safely in Ontario International Airport around 6 p.m. after the crew reported a passenger disturbance and told CNN it will investigate the incident. Now, of course, they reached out to Salva's attorney for comment and to Frontier Airlines for further information, but nothing was really said. And another interesting thing is that if convicted of the interference with the flight crew charge, Salva would face a statutory maximum sentence of 20 years in federal prison, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Salva is currently being held in custody of the U.S. Marshal Service, according to court records, and his preliminary hearing is set for September 26th. The FBI and the Ontario Police Department are investigating the incident. Now, you might be saying, gee, why would he do this? Well, he said that he actually was a child molester and that he thought that people might recognize him, so he was getting nervous on the plane. What the heck is wrong with you? I mean, this is crazy, guys. This is insane. And our last story for the night that I want to cover is a school district south of Seattle cancels classes recently due to a cyber attack. Another cyber attack. Highline Public Schools, a district with 17,500 students south of Seattle, canceled classes on a recent Monday due to a cyber attack that compromised their technology systems. The district detected unauthorized activity and is working with third-party state and federal partners to restore and test their systems. The closure affects all school activities and meetings, including the first day of kindergarten, which was scheduled for a recent Monday. The attack has disrupted communications, transportation, and attendance records. Although there is no evidence of stolen personal information so far, the incident highlights the vulnerability of school districts, which manage extensive personal and financial data, but often lack robust cybersecurity measures. So you might be saying, what kind of financial data? Yes, they could go after their parents' data and try to do stuff with that, right? And the school's financial data, but they're after something even more deadly. So a lot of these students, whether they're, let's say, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, or whatever year they are, they don't really have any assets in their name. So their social security number, their credit, if it gets hit, nobody really pays any attention to it because, they have nothing to lose. But actually they do, because these bad actors are now going to keep that information. And when they get older, maybe when they turn 21 or maybe they get the first credit card, they're going to just zap right after them and go after their assets. So schools is a big place that I feel cybersecurity mitigation has to take place, because if it doesn't, it's going to continue to bring down the rest of our empire. And that is a very, very serious problem. And actually, I have one more that I want to share with you. And this is on OpenAI, the new OpenAI, an AI designed to what they call overthink it. And new models of the O1 offering ChatGPT users a chance to experience AI that pauses to think before responding, codenamed Strawberry. With OpenAI, these models aim to advance AI reasoning, particularly for complex queries, while the O1 version shows notable improvement in handling intricate problems. It comes at a significant cost, approximately 4 times more expensive than GPT-4o. That means they'll be guzzling a lot more water. As we know, they use water to cool their systems down. And so OpenAI even acknowledges on its help page that GPT-4o remains superior for most prompts. AI expert Ravid Schwartz-Ziv notes that while O1 excels at specific problems, it doesn't represent a major overall advancement, and the model is designed to tackle big questions with its multi-step reasoning approach, which involves breaking down large problems into manageable steps and evaluating each one. Although O1's pricing reflects the complexity of this process, making it less suitable for simple queries, it holds promise for tasks requiring deep reasoning, such as planning a Thanksgiving dinner with considerations for the cooking equipment, or how to arrange a surprise party and choosing the venue, and how to keep your primary or guest of honor surprised without people sharing the lowdown of when and what the party is. And Meta reignites plans to train AI using the UK users' public Facebook and Instagram posts. Meta is resuming its effort to train its AI systems using public posts from its UK users, incorporating regulatory feedback into a revised opt-out version. I don't seem to trust Facebook. Another thing I just want to put here as an aside, many of you guys might know that Facebook has been having a very, very big challenge. And it's a really big problem for a lot of people. And I want to just read you a press release that I put out recently. So Facebook lockouts are pushing users to the edge. Fix it or we're gone. Frustrated users fed up with Facebook's overly sensitive AI lockouts, which flag harmless activities and make accessing accounts difficult. Many are demanding immediate fixes or threatening to leave the platform altogether, sending a clear message. Facebook users are sending a clear message to Meta: enough is enough. The platform's sensitive AI algorithms are causing frustration, locking users out for no apparent reason. Despite attempts to resolve the issue, Facebook has yet to offer a meaningful solution, and users won't stand for this anymore. I have been locked out several times a day, doing nothing wrong. And we need to let Meta know we won't tolerate this anymore. If they don't fix it, that is their algorithm, I and many others will close our accounts and leave Facebook forever. It's a frustration. We're out of patience. Constant lockouts are driving users to the brink. Facebook's AI is flagging harmless actions like liking posts, scrolling feeds, sending friend requests as suspicious, causing accounts to be unfairly locked. Worse, getting help is nearly impossible for most users. Unless you're a business user, it's almost impossible to reach someone at Facebook, explains many users, including myself. Even as a business user, I was told the algorithm is just sensitive by one of their support staff. They admitted there's a problem, but of course, offered no solution. A broken system, no fix, no accountability. That's what Facebook is known for, being unaccountable for things and being great at taking people's money. Lack of transparency has fueled widespread dissatisfaction. Users are being locked out without explanation, and Facebook's vague responses leave them feeling ignored and unsupported. Quote, we're not going to just accept this, says a user. Quote, Facebook must fix this or we're leaving. Meta needs to know we won't tolerate being locked out and penalized for nothing. Their AI is clearly broken, and until they fix it, many of us are ready to move on. The constant lockouts, lack of resolution, and inability to reach meaningful support have left users considering leaving Facebook entirely. I've been a loyal user for years, but if this continues, I'm done, says a fellow resident. Our patience is running out. Either Facebook fixes this or we'll find a platform that values our time. Facebook users are united in their demand for action. Meta needs to address these AI lockout issues immediately or risk losing a significant portion of its user base. The message is clear. Fix it, Facebook, or we're leaving. And maybe they'll respond when they understand that they won't be getting any more money for advertising. I think that is a big, big problem for a lot of people. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know who I am by now, I am Mr. John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been a pleasure being with you today on the J Moore Tech Talk Show. We're on Series 3, show number. Can you believe, ladies and gentlemen, I can hardly believe that we are already on, yes, we are on show number 38. Wow. We are more than halfway through the year. I hope you guys will scan the QR code, go to my hat, believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And I'll catch you guys on another J Moore Tech Talk Show or another one of my other shows very soon.